Shields up, Ironbreakers. Rurikhan here coming at you with another video. Welcome back to Monster Hunter and a Happy New Year. To start things off with 2022, I figured I'd bring you guys a couple of tips that will hopefully help you deal with some of these Apex emergency quests that have been added into the game, which I would consider to be some of the more challenging content that we've seen thus far in Monster Hunter Rise. These tips can also be applied to literally any other quest, so if you want to apply them to like Super Magnamalo, if you want to apply them to like Super Rajang, they'll be able to help you out as well and hopefully enable you to tackle down these quests if you are having trouble with them. Now, naturally, there's also the way of the light bowgun if that is something that you want to do, and you can achieve results just like this. This, by the way, is obviously not me. As you guys know, I don't really play light bowgun, I don't really play heavy bowgun, I don't really play bow. But this is, however, Angbata. This is like a speedrun of the Apex Rathalos emergency quest. I believe it took him like 4 minutes, 9 seconds, something like that. He's using the light bowgun to, great efficiency and basically destroying the ever-living crap out of Apex Rathalos. So, if you guys want to check that out, I'm going to be leaving a link for Angbata's channel because he does some pretty cool stuff. And I find it interesting because a lot of people sometimes ask me, Rurikhan, can you make a guide for like bowgun? Can you make a guide for like bow? And it's like, I don't play those ranged weapons, but you guys should check out Angbata if you want some tips for that. But anyways, if you guys are like me and you're like more playing Monster Hunter Rise in melee, you like being all up in the monster's face and you want to engage on that deadly dance, then let's talk a little bit more about that. So one of the first things that I would like to bring to your attention, it starts before you actually get into the hunt. And that is, you want to go to your items and you want to create yourself a nice little loadout. So let's go to my item loadout. I have like a bunch of loadouts here. This is my default loadout to, average hunting. You got your potions in there. You got some honey in there. You got your meats, your average day stuff. This is what I use for regular hunts. Now, when you're talking about some of the harder hunts, we're actually going to be talking about this, which is my loadout number 3. And I'm going to be talking about some of the items that I use in this loadout specifically, and let's talk about them. So, for starters, we got Mega Demon Drug and Mega Armor Skin. I actually don't really tend to use these. I have them in the loadout, but I very rarely use them. As a matter of fact, you don't have to use them, but hey, they give you that little bit extra damage and a little bit extra defense, which might just, make the hunt a little bit shorter for you. So these are items that I would include. A very important item in this particular set is the Max Potion. Why the Max Potion? Because you can basically heal yourself to full at a moment's notice. And you guys are like, well, yeah, but you can only carry 2 of those. Can you? What if I told you that you can use this 7 times throughout the quest in one single item loadout? So here's what you guys do. You get yourself your Max Potion, then you get yourself some 5 catalysts, which are used by combining, I believe, bitter bugs and honey. So get yourself some 5 catalysts and also get yourself some Mandragora. You only really need 5 Mandragora. I have 10 because 10 is the maximum that you can carry. But basically, if you then do like a custom wheel, so if we go here and we go into our radial menu settings for quests, and you do a custom one where you put your Max Potion like somewhere, anywhere, really, as you start using Max Potions, it will automatically draw stuff from your bag to create new Max Potions, thus enabling you to use the Max Potion essentially 7 times because you have 2 on you, and with the 5 catalysts and Mandragora stuff that you take onto the quest, you can then have 5 more, which enables you to basically use Max Potions 7 times during the quest, which I would consider to be really, really good because you can basically top yourself off to maximum health at a moment's notice. Now, you shouldn't use these willy-nilly, right? If you only take like a minor hit, you still want to go for the Mega Potions. And, but if you get yourself like a major hit and you're about to die, then you pop out the Max Potion. I would assume that some of you guys that are tackling on these harder quests will know when to use a Max Potion. And if you don't, you're going to have to learn. Another important thing that I don't know if people use or not, because, I don't really check out how people manage their inventories and whatnot, is you'll notice that I have potions and honey in here. That is because, as I go through my 10 Mega Potions, I then use the Mega Potion again, and it will automatically combine a regular potion with the honey, and it will instantly give you another Mega Potion. I also regularly use honey to just basically combine with like first aid that you can get from the camp. and that will do First Aid Plus, which is basically a mega potion without even spending my regular potions. So as I was editing the video, I noticed that I neglected to talk about food buffs, and I wanted to bring one in particular to your attention, which is Magna Crisp. I'm not sure if you guys are all aware of it. Most likely you are, but just in case you aren't, I like to cover all of my bases. Magna Crisp is actually going to be giving you Dango Moxie, which is the equivalent of Guts, which for those of you that don't know what Guts is, this basically means that if a monster one-shots you, you actually don't die, assuming that your health is above like 20% or something, because if your health is below 20%, it's not really a one-shot, is it? I mean, I'm talking about actually going down really fast and dying, and this essentially prevents that, unless it's against Super Apex Rathian, because she can also poison you. But the idea here is, if you pop this, you know, you're going to be surviving one-shots, and then you can use the max potions that we talked about earlier. But that's not all, because this particular food buff, if you use a Dango ticket, it's 100% activation chance, and that means that you get it every single time. But this is not the only buff that I would bring up. In the case of, you know, Rathalos, the Apex Emergency Rathalos, you can also use Dango Fire Resistance to get a little bit tankier against his fireballs. And you guys are like, but his fireballs are still one-shotting me. That's not going to help much. Keep watching the video. We're going to be talking about more stuff that's going to make you tankier. But, you know, if you're fighting Mizu, you might want to bring Dango Water Resistance. You might want to bring Thunder Resistance. Consider some of these defensive options against the monsters that you're fighting, because it can really make you significantly tankier to survive some of these one-shots. There's also Dango Defender I, which is not as good as previous Feline Defender buffs in the genre, in my opinion, because I don't see it proc nearly as often. But, you know, that's another option. You can get increased health recovery from items from Dango Medic. You know, there's a bunch of really cool buffs here. And I know that some of you guys at this point might even be like, but Rurikhan, I don't have that many Dango tickets. And I can also tell you guys how to get Dango tickets. If you go here to the menu, do Motley Mix, it's just like, do a bunch of this. Like, for instance, I have a bunch of raw meat here. Actually, how much meat do I have? I only have 29. Doesn't matter. So if I just use these 29 raw meat, right? We do this. She's going to cook the meat for me. I'm actually going to skip the animation here. And you will see that she is going to give us a bunch of tickets. Like, after you do this, you talk to her. Oh, Rurikhan. She's going to be like, oh, here you go. Here's a couple of tickets. That's 13 tickets for that meat right there. And it's like, you can cook all kinds of stuff. It doesn't have to be meat. Like, I'm sure that there's some kind of ingredient that I have tons of. I mean, I have 800 something blue mushrooms. I can cook 99 of these, right? And this will instantly give me just like a crap ton of the tickets. So it's like, this is really easy to get tickets. This is not like Monster Hunter World where you have to do like specific quests to get tickets and stuff. You can just get these tickets nonstop. Like every single oh, I only got 20 for that one, but it doesn't matter. Basically, you can keep cooking stuff and getting tickets. That's the point. And, you know, basically there's no quest that I go on where I don't use a freaking canteen ticket. They're very, very easy to get. But anyways, I just wanted to add the chat about food buff. Something else that I also don't mention in the video is remember to pick up, you know, endemic life and stuff that can help you. Like the Thunderbug that gives you Thunderblight because then you hit the monster in the head, gets knocked out. You know, Blast Bug, all of these things. Make sure to pick those things and use those in your hunt because that's going to help you greatly. But anyways, back to the video. So it's like, these are all just some regular everyday tips. But the thing that kind of blew my mind, this happened during my stream where I was actually streaming this and people were telling me about the Spiribirds. And I want to do a separate video talking specifically about preparation aspects of Monster Hunter Rise and all that. But basically, Spiribirds are actually pretty friggin' broken for these quests. Like, they're really, 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 really good. Like, I severely underestimated the power of Spiribirds, and I feel like a lot of people in my community have been telling me, Rurikhan, you should use Spiribirds, and I'm like, I don't need that. I don't need Spiribirds. And it's like, don't you? Dude, Spiribirds are really good. So, something that you should also consider is you go to your manage equipment, and I know that it's going to be like 90% of people are going to be using Demon Petalace here because that's what I was doing. Why Demon Petalace? We use Demon Petalace because it's got tons of stamina and it's got the most attack up that you can get. And in a way, you can argue the game kind of sets you up for this because most of the game is significantly easier than previous Monster Hunters, at least in my opinion. So you're like, well, why do I need any of this defense nonsense? I don't need any of this. I can just have max attack. So just go for the Demon Petalace. However, My suggestion for these Apex emergency quests and Super Magnamalos, Super Rajang, or any other quest that you are struggling with, swap to the Absolute Petalace. The Absolute Petalace is going to give you way more health. Like if you compare, it's going to give you twice the amount of health that the Demon Petalace gives you, which gives you health up 50. This one gives you health up 100. It also gives you more health gain per Spiribird. You get tons of stuff. Now, some of you might consider also stamina up, but right now I'm going to be focusing everyone on the Absolute Petalace first, because if you're struggling, you want to have as much health as you possibly can. Still gives you a decent amount of attack up, and it gives you way more defense, whereas here you got defense up 20, here you have defense up 50, okay? So you're going to get a ton of additional defense just by using the Absolute Petalace. And naturally, this is going to involve you actually collecting Spiribirds ahead of the hunt itself. So go around, scour the map. Remember that you can check out the map itself and you can highlight where the Spiribirds are and collect as many Spiribirds as you possibly can. And it is going to make an absolute world of difference when it comes to facing off against these monsters, like attacks that were just straight up one-shotting me in my previous builds. The simple fact that I swapped Absolute Petalace into Absolute Petalace and collected a couple of Spiribirds along the way, it completely changed the difficulty of the quest. Now, naturally, if you're looking for a challenge, this might be not something that you want to do, and you have to basically practice, which, you know, I beat Super Rathalos, Apex Emergency Rathalos without doing this, and then I went back and I beat him doing this, and it's just such a much more chill experience. It is way, way easier. And, you know, it's just one of those things. If you are struggling with these quests, this is something that you may consider. And I'm very curious to hear what you guys' thoughts are on this. Check it out for yourselves. Let me know how it works for you, because for me, it was a night and day difference. So, yeah, those are kind of like my tips right there. Besides that, the only thing that you really need to do is practice, practice, practice. Go up against the monster and practice. And as a matter of fact, you can use this as a practice mode to get more used to the monster's moveset. And then when you feel more comfortable, you can swap back to the Demon Petalace if you want to get that additional challenge of actually beating it without using Spiribirds, without using anything else. But at the very least, you'll be able to, you know, do the quest without getting one-shotted repeatedly, and you'll get to see more of the moveset in a more lengthier time frame, thus enabling you to practice against these monsters and making everything just easier on yourself. Let me know what you guys think about this video. I want to do a video talking about the value of Spiribirds and like them essentially being the preparation of Monster Hunter Rise, because that was something that I hadn't really considered before, and it was something that kind of like blew my mind in the last stream. And I know I'm probably kind of late to this party, but it's still something that I want to talk about and I want to discuss. And also, if you guys are excited about Monster Hunter Rise for PC, that is going to be releasing pretty soon. So hopefully you guys have been holding fast, and hopefully you guys enjoy your Monster Hunter Rise on PC at 4K, 60 FPS. I will be streaming that for sure. Probably going to be playing Charge Blade, doing all of that. But for now, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay strong, stay safe. Peace out.